Good evening. Welcome to the city of West Miami. Today is Wednesday, June 21st, 2017 at 7:30 sharp. For the invocation, Mrs. Aguilar.
Thank you. Please rise. And let's bow our head tonight and pray to our Lord for all the victims of the recent and apparent terrorist attacks in London, Paris, and now Madrid, Spain. And especially our prayers go out tonight to the family of Otto Warmbier so that they can heal from the tragic death of their young son who was a victim of abuse in North Korea. May you comfort them as they mourn and as they accept the death of their young son. Tonight we pray for world peace, for understanding, and for compassion. We pray for leadership, and may our elected officials be instruments of good government for those whom they serve. We pray so that our military, law enforcement officers, and firefighters stay safe and out of harm's way, and we ask this in your name. Amen.
Deputy Chief, for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Roll call. Mayor Eduardo Mujina is excused this evening. Vice Mayor Candida Blanca
Yes.
is presiding the table this evening. Commissioner Juan Blanes,
Present.
Commissioner Ronda Rodriguez,
Present.
Commissioner Luciano Suarez.
Yes.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Item 4, presentation of minutes for approval for June 7th, 2017 regular City Commission meeting.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All in favor.
Next item, please.
Item 5, report of the city manager.
No written report tonight, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Next item.
Item 6, report of the city attorney.
There's no report by the city attorney.
Item 7, report of the city engineers, none this evening. Item 8, committee reports.
No report.
Any other committee?
No reports?
No reports. Item 9, citizen presentations. No presentation, Madam Mayor.
Okay.
Item 10, under unfinished business. Item 10A, nomination of members and alternate members to the Charter Review Board. This is by Mayor and City Commission, and at the meeting of June 7, this office submitted a report that the Charter Review Board must meet to consider if charter amendments are necessary, and you were provided with the list of appointments of the last Charter Review Board. So we're just waiting for your appointments at this point.
Does anybody have any?
Or if charter amendments, the city
I have one
attorney
too.
recommended a charter review board must meet and consider that. That was the
Okay, Commissioner Blanes has one.
yes, Commissioner.
Ralph Oreye. And I do believe you have his contact information, right?
Yes. As for the purpose of clarification, Madam Mayor, at the last meeting of June 7, the city attorney advised that a charter review board must meet and then consider whether charter amendments are necessary or not. That's why we're trying to put
Yes,
together a charter
we
review
remember
board.
that. I have a nomination, Eugenio Gonzalez.
Duly noted.
You have a,
Madam Clerk, do
Yes,
we
I
have
have
to
the
wait till the
information.
next meeting, or can I call you with my nomination? I don't have one right now, so do I have to present it at the next meeting? Or when I have the name, can I just present it to you?
When you have the name, you just let me know. I'll report it at the next meeting. You can, whenever you're
I can
ready,
just
you'll let me know.
Let you know, okay,
Yes.
perfect, thank you.
Commissioner Suarez, do you have a nomination?
I have to check with the person, if the person is still available, because if the person is thinking about the possibility to serve here in the board, but he have to confirm some things they have in plans. Next meeting, and maybe have the name in his decision.
Okay.
Thank you.
For the record, Madam Mayor and for the clerk, Mayor Muiña advised that he would submit his at the July 5th meeting upon his return. As you know, he's away
Yes.
this meeting, out of town.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item 10B, this is a report by SCEC, an illustration of the floor plan for the proposed passport office. This is by the Director of Public Works and SCEC.
Good evening, Ms. Mayor, Commissioners. At the last meeting that we had, the expansion of City Hall, you requested a different layout for the passport office that we intend to add to the City Hall building. This is the most useful plan that we can get with additional seating, a total 8 additional waiting area seating, and eliminating the additional door to that area. They'll still be able to go in through City Hall and then walk in through a pass-through where an existing window is now that will be removed and made a passageway into the passport office. On the back side where you see the lighter gray, that's where the passport clerks will work from. Those will be desks that will be there permanently mounted inside the counter. And then you have partitions for privacy between one clerk and the other clerk and the people that they service. You also have where you see that white chair, that's a drop-down area to service people with wheelchair disabilities at a lower height. There is a glass partition between the clerk and the person they're attending to, and that's for security purposes. And then the passport clerks will go through the secured area of the other window that's in the City Hall building that will be removed and used as a pass-through to that passport office area. Should there be more need for them, then the girls from the regular side of the office will come over to help, or they could also assist in the City Hall lobby area also. Ms. Carty's here if you have any questions for her. The outside of the exterior of the building, as you can see, will have new impact windows. The front door will be newly impact, and the design of the existing 19-feature facade is continued.
Thank you. Yes.
Madam Manager,
Yes.
Madam Clerk, Mr. Pena, have you previously looked at this and studied it and thoroughly thought it out to be the best practical, most useful?
That is the most useful layout for the space that we have.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yes, and we've discussed it for our passport needs, and I've discussed it with the office staff, those that are involved with passport
So
services.
they've seen it?
They
and-
they are aware of the concept, not in the detail that it's presented tonight, because we just got these illustration for you tonight. We believe that there's functionality. We believe that the introduction of the glass separation provides a safe and secure workplace for city employees. We are also talking about installing cameras, as most city halls have now, and somewhat of a security system. The front door opens up only one opportunity to have access into the building, and those exiting the building. So we believe that this model works better than having 2 doors. I think it's more accountable, and it separates the area, thus allowing your constituents to come in and have their lobby back to transact city business.
Suggestion,
Sir?
why don't you show them this rendition, these plans, to them? They're the ones that are gonna be working there day in and day out, and see what their input is.
May I offer something? I think that, that's why staff is, and I'm not saying that we'd like to undermine their comments, but when you get too many opinions, you really delay the process.
It's a suggestion.
Yes, yes, and I have spoken to them about it. We're actually, thinking, Juan and I and, Gotti and Mercedes have talked about, possibly relocating some of the staff members on a permanent basis to that area, creating more of an opening in the front office. We may make some changes to the current seating arrangements and the filing cabinet situation, just housekeeping, things that we think that where there will be more of a functionality.
I suggest that because they're the ones that know better than
Of
anyone
course.
else
No, we have discussed
what the traffic
it.
is, who comes, what they do, where they stand.
Correct,
What they ask for, so.
correct.
Commissioner,
Correct.
if I may, I did discuss the layout with the front office staff individually, and they were fine with the
Yep.
Okay, all right.
layout.
Well, good.
But, Mayor,
Yes.
well, the difference, I don't have this new concept. I have the old one.
Correct.
The difference is that instead of have one door at the front, they have two glass windows, large windows,
Right.
from the top to the bottom. And the inside is more or less the same they had before. One opening to the existing reception, and no.
I believe before there was six chairs,
opening.
six chairs before. Now, with the elimination of the door, we have the ability to put 8.
Right, and your lobby can still serve as an overflow if that present area is busy. Then your main lobby can, serve to seat others while they wait. And again, these are, during peak times. We're entering, hopefully, after July 15th, we have a valley, so that's a window of time to move forward with the construction, so that at the end of January, beginning of February, when peak season begins again, we are ready to accommodate our passport applications.
The difference is that the opening to the existing reception is more or less the same, and the plaza court, existing lobby is opening here, but more or less the same concept.
The counter's further back on the counter's further back on the.
There's two windows, we keep one, the main door of the building, and the two long doors, and the interior changes. The opening from here.
We added another counter so that you can maximize, we added actually another counter because they were concerned that you didn't have enough, right, so this had two counters. So now we added a third one so you can process more people.
Oh, because you think to put here the partition.
Exactly, well, we put the partition for a little bit more privacy than we had before.
Juan,
Remove this door.
for
You're
coming to the
thinking
record.
instead about three.
Yeah, so
And
then
the
you
personal move here,
Exactly.
and the customer, the customer, move from here.
And then the other thing is that this will be the backdrop, so we're gonna take pictures, passport pictures, so we have, we're proposing a remote camera that each of them can use, where they just press and, ask the person standing at the wall, here for the passport.
I'm sorry, where's that gonna be? I couldn't see, Commissioner, where is that gonna be? What you would just point? Oh, right there, okay.
It's an existing
Okay.
wall.
Yeah, that people just stand against, it'll have a
Okay.
white backdrop, and then,
Okay,
right, and then they can just press a button and take the picture remotely from any one of these three stations.
okay.
But this one is, at staff's suggestion, removing that door and getting a third one means to process
3 at a time.
3% more people, at with the same space. And then what we did also, we took out the office is a little bit smaller, because really, all you need is enough room to get a person to stand behind each of these. And so what the increase of this space allowed was at least 2 more,
Thank you.
Madam Manager, you mentioned that we're going to put in security cameras.
Yes, hopefully.
Is that gonna be,
That's separate and
Throughout
apart
the-
from this
throughout the
initial
entire-
plan
oh, okay.
concept presentation. That's after the work is done. We will then coordinate the installation of the phones and the camera.
but not just in the,
And-
not
and
just in the passport office? in the
I'd like to
entire
do
front
it in the
office?
front office,
Perfect.
as most city halls. I'd like to mirror what other cities are doing, and the fact is that we deal with money all the time. We're very fortunate because we live in a very safe neighborhood, and our residents are great people. But in today's day and age, we need to take an extra step to make it safe for our city employees and for our residents.
And the only reason I brought that up is because whereas right now, the passport office or counter is visible from the entire existing reception area.
Correct.
Now it's going to be somewhat
Apart, isolated.
So that your existing, staff sitting in what's called the existing reception area cannot really see what's going on. So they're kinda like, I don't know,
Isolated, but
maybe if we could
Right.
open that door a little bit more, I'm not that I'm concerned, but it bothers me that they're gonna be, you can't see in there for security purposes. That's why I asked about the cameras.
The only reason for this size
Mhm.
is because there's an existing window there.
Mm-hmm,
So structurally, there's an existing support above that. So
Okay.
if you just take it down, it means it's just a lot less cost to, once you get into modification of the existing wall,
Mhm.
it gets more complicated and.
more costly.
okay. I'm just concerned about them being blocked off from the view of the entire staff.
But again, that area is more secure because the partitions are impact partitions that we're putting in.
Right.
Okay,
They're actually more secure in there than they are in the city hall lobby.
Okay,
Right,
okay,
right.
okay,
Right now,
okay.
we're more exposed.
that
It'll
works.
be more like a bank teller situation type.
That works, that works.
And then this opening is also another window that we're removing. We're proposing no door, so really.
So complete, open.
Right.
Okay, that's
Right.
great, that's great.
Right.
That way, the girls are there, can see what's going on in
Right.
there, that's fine.
And the
That
thought
works.
process is that if we move two people permanently there, that we're able to rotate personnel
That
because.
works. I just want to be
that-
able to
that
see in there
works.
from the rest of the office. So
And
I've-
it should be noted that the two individuals that will sit there on a permanent basis have other job duties and responsibilities. We're just shifting their positions.
Okay.
Their workload remains the same.
Okay, that works.
Okay,
Sorry, I didn't state my name for reference.
thank you. Next item, please.
We need a
Yes.
yay or nay?
Okay.
We need a
A motion?
motion.
No, but one moment. We are not approving this today. This is a new concept. So meeting is
It
not to
doesn't say
approve
anything
which you are
about,
going to do. This one or the other one. Because then we have to discuss about the other one.
Mr. Commissioner, you could do whatever you want as far as
No,
going back and
I
forth.
understand.
But what I'm saying is, the more you delay, the more expensive it
Well,
gets.
what I have to understand, this was presented, this lady presented this, she presented this with the modifications, but we don't have the other party.
We
Which
have to
other
have
par-
the, we have the other people to discuss which of the two concepts would be better.
Mr. Commissioner, it's the same company. We're paying the same company to do different designs. It's up to you which design we use.
Well, I don't know, I see here Cary Architectural, I see here T.Y. Lee International.
T.Y. Lin was just a proposed
Concept.
concept back 2 years ago.
Well, but this was brought to here 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
To show you what the concept was and where we went from the concept to the reality.
I think this was presented to us 3 months ago, and this also was 3 months ago or so.
No,
And
the
then the
no,
other
this one is,
The-
no,
And then comes with the new one.
Commissioner, the T.Y. Lin concept was 2 years ago.
Well, for you.
No, for all of you.
Well, but anyway, Cary Architectural brought a new concept, so we are comparing.
no,
We are not, I have to understand, excuse me,
The record.
I have to understand,
We have, because we have the different idea also for this one, T.Y. Lee. I remember Commissioner Blanes present,
this could be the counter
all the way along with the opening to the office.
We discussed
So the
that.
girls work from the office to the,
We discussed that. T.Y. Lin, Cardi Architecture, and us discussed that. It won't work as good as this works.
well, I think when Blanes present this, was the first idea about this, to put it in this way. To put the counter here, with the opening to the existing reception, so the girls, they have an opening and they're working, and the reception is behind, and the public sit down in the front. And this concept was never presented here. You did, you brought this the other day.
No,
You don't remember?
I don't recall.
no.
Well, I know I put here Blanes, because you brought here.
Well, I
To put a counter all the way along.
Excuse me.
Make
May
an
I-
opening?
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
may I
please.
clarify something that
Yes,
could
please.
maybe have something to do with the two concepts? T.Y. Lin came up with a conceptual design, because they are the building official for the city. We did exactly we followed the same pattern that we followed when the Public Services Building it's a design-build concept, but because they're going to be looking at the plans for the issuance of the permit and doing the inspections, because they are the official building officials for the city, then what they do is we have to hire a contractor that meets the requirements of the specification and contract documents so that they can design the final product and then tender it over to the city for approval, at which point T.Y. Lin will pick up the plan and submit their comments during the approval process. Am I correct, Mr. Penna?
So they withdraw this concept. T.Y. Lin doesn't care no longer their idea.
T.Y. Lin presented that as as a look for the future, just like
Right.
they did an option for the look
I
of my
understand.
building.
I
My
under-
building, from what T.Y. Lin presented 2 years ago to what we have today, is different.
I understand now,
Okay.
but
It was
the
an
other,
idea.
the last time it was discussed here were the two parties, T.Y. Lin and this company, so that's why I asked if this is going to be the final for this, or just was trying to competition among the two.
No, we hired Cardi Architecture.
Okay, they were hired as a specialist for this.
to
They
desi-
were hired by resolution of the mayor and
To
city commission.
complete the rest of the
As
design.
a specialist who do
Right.
this, okay.
Does this concept fall within budget?
We are going out for bid once you approve the concept.
Okay. What do you
Right.
need?
motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All in
Thank you.
favor?
Don't we have to vote? No.
No, it's not a vote, it's just a report.
Yes.
For the
All are in
record, I said
favor.
aye.
Thank you.
And next item, Madam Mayor.
Yes, please.
Item 11, under new business agenda items, item 11A, this is a presentation by the Spanish American League Against Discrimination. This item is sponsored by Commissioner Blanes.
Good evening. How are you all? Commissioner Blanes, thank you for allowing me to come today.
Good evening, and welcome.
Yolanda, thank you.
Juan, welcome back.
Please say your name and address.
Luciano. Juan de Arce, the address for the Spanish American League is 900, confusing with my home address, Southwest First Street, Miami, Florida, 33130. I come here today basically to reestablish contact between the city of West Miami and the Spanish American League Against Discrimination. As you all know, we've been doing the work for the community, advocating for a discrimination-free South Florida. As Luciano, you remember, Osvaldo Soto is our president emeritus, and basically today, Marcos Realado is our current president. And basically, what we're trying to do is make sure we reach out to the community. I know there's been some changes in the commission. I still remember when our commissioner Rebecca Sosa was here. It feels a little weird to come back and not see her here. So if you're watching, Rebecca, hello, and Marco Rubio. But we wanted to make sure that you guys knew we were still around and we're still advocating. Our mission has changed to some degree. We're doing some legal clinics, foreclosure defense. We are also involved in the school system to make sure we bring a level of advocacy for not only Hispanics but other minorities in the community. And with that said, I'm the executive director, and we have a full board and we have different events, and most of them actually happen in Calle Ocho. You have any questions for me?
By the way, I was one of the founders.
Wow.
Are you?
Yes.
That must, that
Well,
must
you know
be
what?
good.
I'm actually rebuilding the history because the history at the beginning it's somewhat shaky.
What was that,
it-
about 100 years ago?
No, no,
Well,
excuse me.
well, Attorney
It was
Villalobos, you
about
know,
41, 42 years ago, and
Mayor.
it was one of the distinguished members and one of the first heads of the Spanish American League Against Discrimination is Dr. Eduardo Padrón,
Eduardo Padrón is correct.
and then it was Osvaldo Soto, and I was a member of the board way back when we did not have, as a matter of fact, the former mayor of the city of Miami,
You talking about
Maurice.
Manny Diaz?
Maurice Ferre?
Maurice?
no,
Kennedy.
Xavier Suarez? Carollo?
This is a senior moment, by the way. Was
Steve-
wa-
Steve
was
Clark.
just,
Steve Clark.
merely-
Clark.
Steve Clark was the mayor.
No.
Of the state of
Was One of
Miami.
the, one of the
No,
secretaries
Miami,
that we had at the Spanish America, a young guy,
Miami.
can't remember his name now.
Well, thank you for volunteering to help me build that history.
So it was right in front of a very famous restaurant that later came to be, and it was no longer anymore. We had a little cubby hall in the second floor of the adjacent building, and we had 2.5 offices with one phone.
Mr.
We
Archer,
were
this is a
battling- we
fruitful
were battling
visit
the
because
establishment.
now you have all the history right here.
Okay.
No, we're going on a date. Don't worry about this. 43 years, as a matter of fact. You know, this July. And you know, your city is 70 years old, so we're contemporary to
catching
some
up.
degree.
At that
You're
time, we
catching
were-
up.
We're
at that
getting the
time, we were
ARP
being
card
blamed-
soon.
At that time, we were being blamed for everything that was happening in the city. If there was a jobless market, it was because of the Cuban American. It was a crime, it was because of the Cuban American. It was we battled for the Spanish language to be taught in school, and we have an uphill battle. So that was something very good that
Those
I'm
were
very
the days.
happy that continues to this
Well,
day.
we're still advocating for bilingual education, emphasis on Spanish. There's been some measures that have been put, you know, in front of the Florida legislature that actually kind of create a mistaken reality as to what foreign languages are versus, and it was the coding issue. I don't know if you're aware of that. They were saying basically coding, computer coding was similar to a foreign language, i.e. Spanish. So it wasn't going to be taught anymore. So, you know, that was one of the last things we actually were very active upon. You know, there's things going on. It just happened this week with the airport. You know, there was that lady that got ticketed for not being able to communicate in English. So, you know, there's different things we're looking at. And we do participate with other minority communities since the script has flipped a little bit to some regard as to what a minority is. It's not always Spanish anymore.
Thank you,
I hate to take
sir.
so much of this time, but I need to tell the story. There was the head of the juvenile division of the juvenile court for the 11th Judicial Circuit, Don Gilbert. No, not Don, but Judge Gilbert, called me up one day and he says that he needed a pro bono guardian ad litem. And I said, of course, I'll volunteer. And when I went out there were 1,500 cases of Maria refugees. And thanks now to the organization, we were able to handle every single one of them. So, I think that was something that have been overlooked throughout the years. But it was 1,500 kids that had no home, no family, no money, no English, nothing, that were living in the streets.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners. Luciano, always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
Well, let me tell you, if you don't find Villalobos in the history, go to the prehistory. So he is there, he is there. Well, let me tell you, I have a photograph in Victor's Cafe the day that the county was declared bilingual.
English plus?
Bilingual,
Yeah.
Spanish and English. Then we're adding the Creole years ago,
Right.
years later. And in that photograph is Commissioner Hawking. You remember Commissioner Hawking was
Miller
there with a wheelchair. Luis Sabines, the president of the Latin
Camacoy.
Chamber of Commerce, was Javier Soto, Senator Javier Soto, was the radio personality Garcia Fuste, and I don't remember if another one, and myself, in Victor's Cafe. And I gave a photocopy to Soto, and I think Soto has in his office a copy of that picture.
I will chase
That was in
Commissioner
the 70s, early 70s, when the county was declared bilingual.
The horse and buggy day.
And then we have a party in Victor's Cafe, which is 32nd Avenue. There's another thing now. That was
Okay.
years ago.
Okay, thank you so much for
Thank
having me.
you,
I will
thank
leave
you.
my card here. Commissioner, pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Pleasure.
Mr. Archer. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
visiting us.
No, thank you.
Next item, please.
Yes, item 11B, this is a first reading, an ordinance of the City of West Miami amending Chapter 10, Section 105J, construction or repairing of buildings prohibiting the erection, demolition, alteration, or repair to any building between the hours of 7 p.m. through 8:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, Saturday, the hours of 7 p.m. through 9:30 a.m., and allowing Sundays from 12 noon to 6 p.m., amending Section 1050, pile drivers, hammers, etc., prohibiting the use of any such equipment between the hours of 7 p.m. to 8:30 a.m., Monday through Friday, Saturday, the hours of 7 p.m. through 9:30 a.m., and allowing Sundays from 12 noon to 6 p.m., amending Section 105Q, landscaping equipment and power tools, prohibiting the use of any such equipment between the hours of 7 p.m. 8:30 a.m., Monday through Friday, Saturday, the hours of 7 p.m. through 9:30 a.m., and allowing Sundays from 12 noon to 6 p.m., providing for severability, inclusion in the code, and an effective date by mayor and city commission.
Motion.
Second.
Will you call the vote?
Yes, Commissioner Rodriguez, as you vote,
We will be able to discuss this at second reading, correct?
the
Correct.
second
Absolutely.
reading,
Yes, okay, I vote
yes,
yes.
this is the first reading.
I vote yes.
Yes. Yes, Commissioner Suarez,
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes.
Yes.
Mayor Blanca.
Yes.
4-0. Item passes, and the second reading and public hearing of this ordinance will be advertised for July 5th, 2017 at 7:30.
Okay. Next item, please.
Item 11C, this is a first reading. This is an ordinance of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of West Miami ratifying and reaffirming Ordinance 2015-01 of the City of West Miami, passed and adopted January 15, 2015, vacating, abandoning, and closing the road designated as Southwest 21st Street between Southwest 66th Avenue and Southwest 67th Avenue, Exhibit A, and Ordinance 2015-07 of the City of West Miami, passed and adopted September 2nd, 2015, amending and adding an additional 25 feet of such Southwest 21st Street to conform with the corrected survey, Exhibit B, providing for an acceptance of an amendment request for the correction of a Scrivener's omission of an area from the amended vacation of 21st Street to conform with the survey attached hereto as Exhibit C, providing for an effective date, Mayor and City Commission.
Motion.
I'm sorry,
Motion by Commissioner Blanes,
Second.
second by Commissioner Suarez, and on the motion, Commissioner Rodriguez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez,
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes,
Yes.
Mayor Blanca.
Yes.
I should make
4-0.
a clarification on this issue. This was a scrivener error by the surveyor. This is nothing new that we're going to approve. This is simply an error that little corner was left out, and it was the intention of the commission to abandon that property at the time.
Yes, and the second reading and public hearing of this ordinance will be advertised for July 5th, 2017 at 7:30.
Okay, next item, please.
Next item, 11D, resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of West Miami authorizing the city manager to accept a mitigation offer in the amount of blank from Miguel and Ileana De Marciani on code enforcement lien for code violation of the property located at 5850 Southwest 14th Street, West Miami, Florida, providing that if payment in full is not paid by blank, then the amount owed shall revert to the original amount, providing for effective date, Mayor and City Commission.
Mr. Pena?
Mr. Pena, I don't have a breakdown like we usually do. You're gonna break it down for us? I don't mean dance,
It's
just
just
like
one
break it down.
violation.
This is a non-structural violation. I believe it deals with a commercial vehicle.
This was a commercial vehicle that was parking on the property at the time, and it went before the code enforcement board, and the board liened the property for $2,030. Today, one of the property owners is here to mitigate the amount. Again, it's like Ms. Aguilar said, it's not non-structural violation. It was just a commercial vehicle parked in a residential area.
And if I may, the total amount including penalties and recording fees is $2,092.95.
How long was the vehicle parked there?
Again, we're not here to discuss that tonight. That belongs to the Code Enforcement Board. You're here tonight is to mitigate the fine.
But don't they first have to?
They did,
Oh.
and that's what they liened the property for.
Right, they have they heard the case and they filed a
Yeah, but
fact-finding
we
and
usually
conclusion of law.
We usually discuss the particulars here, right?
Well, if you need to know, I mean, I could,
Is it gone? Is the vehicle gone?
yes, it
Oh.
was it's a rental property.
And it's not coming back again, right?
Well, that's up to the owner with the tenant.
Mr. Marciani is here present. She wants to address the commission.
Vehicle was there starting September 10th, 2015.
To when?
And it was finally removed intermittently, but it was removed finally on November 7, 2016.
Ms.
Yes.
Marciani, right?
Di Marciani.
Di Marciani.
Please state your name and address, please.
Ileana De Marciani, 819 Anastasia Avenue, Coral Gables. I am the owner of the property 5850 Southwest 14th Street. We had been cited in 2015, and the truck was no longer parking there. We even spoke with Charles about different options that the person that rents from me could have, if he can, put it in the back, Charles said, no, this isn't, you're not able to do this, and the vehicle was removed and not parked there any longer. Unfortunately, there was an evening that the place that he had made arrangements to leave it at, because this is his work vehicle, and he had to make arrangements to leave it obviously off-site. He was not able to leave it there, and he made the mistake of bringing it home that evening. The reason the excessive fine was given was I, as the homeowner, thought that everything had been closed because I had been in communication with Charles about this and some other things at the house, as a matter of fact, which he sent me a letter stating, everything has been closed, and he did state the two ordinance and, excuse the assumption, but I was under the assumption that that had been closed. When I went in front of the commission, because I've come, and the homeowner, the renter has always come with me. Unfortunately, today he is working. Sometimes he's sent up to Jupiter to work. When we came, like he worded it all, so it seems that we've left the car there all this time. So that's why we had the excessive fine, because the way they look at it is, you have it open since 2015, you've been doing it to 2016. You got this, we had like a $22,000 fine. The other commission said, we're only allowed, they saw excessive, they understood, and they said we're only allowed to bring it down to a 10%, which is the 2,300. I'm taking my time as the homeowner to ask you if you can lower it. This is a very hardworking family, and 2,000 is a little excessive still for him. He made a mistake, and he keeps my home in great shape. Anything that, is like, do this, do that, he does it. So, it's not coming out of my pocket, and I'm here asking you as a favor, if you can, if not forgive him, bring it down as much as possible.
I have a question. Is this a white panel van?
No, this is a large, he has a large truck, which he's a welder. He's a welder, so this is a large truck with like a flat bed with things on side, and it's a large truck.
But you live in Coral Gables, right?
Yes, sir.
So you understand why there are laws and rules and regulations. You living in the Gables, you should know better than anybody else that the Gables has all these laws to make your neighborhood nice, to make your quality of life good. And that's one reason why I sit here. That's one reason why we all sit here, to make sure that the quality of life of the homeowners here in West Miami is good, like yours in Coral Gables. You as a homeowner, you as the owner of the property, it is your responsibility to make sure to whomever that you rent to, that they're gonna have to abide by the laws, the rules and regulations of this city. Because having that truck parked there for so many days, weeks, months, or whatever, it took away from the quality of life of the residents that own homes here. Do you understand that?
Sir, I completely
okay.
understand it, and
So-
I was a resident, excuse me, I was a resident of the city of West Miami for 5 years, okay? I haven't sold my home because
It's an investment for you, though.
no, it's not an investment. It's my,
it's-
it's my future. I
it's-
plan to come back to live because I love the city of West Miami.
Okay.
My mother lived here before. I lived here. I live right here. I live in a large home. Chances are, when my husband dies, that he's older than me, I'm going to move back to that house. I haven't sold it. And frankly, every time I come, they tell me, you live in Coral Gables, you should know. I live in Coral Gables, but I value West Miami.
But it is your responsibility.
Yes, sir, it is.
And you're
I,
you're giving us a bunch of excuses.
no, sir, I did not
You are
get-
the property owner. You are responsible for your property.
Sir, I don't believe I'm giving you excuses. I'm giving you the situation that happened. He takes care of my home, and I am in touch.
And we heard you. Thank
Okay,
you.
I apologize. Thank you very much.
Madam
Thank
Mayor, I
you.
have a question.
Sure.
Do we have a staff recommendation?
Yes, yes,
Which is?
Juan and I have discussed this case, and, we feel that, if you bring this down, fine down to $500, it should satisfy the issue of, and again, of code compliance, and it will cover administrative time, that we have spent on the file, the time that the code enforcement department was out there. And so we believe that that is suitable for the type of fine. We're not talking about anything structural or a multifamily or anything like that. And the message obviously is
Yeah,
that.
500 is still
yeah,
a lot for him, and
it-
I appreciate it.
But it is 500, our recommendation is $500. That would cover the time on the file. And I understand that the message probably carries so much more weight than the monetary value that we want to make sure, and I think that is what the commissioner is
No,
trying
Well,
to convey.
if this happens again, I'm not gonna agree to mitigating a cent. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, I appreciate.
Madam Manager, I'd like to motion to take the recommendation of staff, but to also give a little bit more extension of time to pay so that the tenant can perhaps.
And again, we're gonna treat this the same way, that we're gonna recommend that you treat it the same way as other, fines, that we, give them 45 days to pay. That way they don't have to cough up the money in the next 10 or 15 days,
Exacto.
so.
I appreciate that extremely, but I'll be more than happy to cover it and make the arrangements with the tenant. I mean, it's my responsibility, and I apologize if I've come off saying anything wrong. You know, I'll do that, I'll pay it, and
Well, I'd like to, if I may, give them 60 days. Is that? That way the tenant has more time
If the
to-
homeowner is advising that she will pay
Is
for it and
45
make the
days o-
arrangements with the tenant, then let's,
Okay. Appreciate it.
let's,
Thank
you.
let's
then
keep it
45
at
days.
45 days, just to be consistent with
Okay.
what you do with other cases.
Exactly.
I would do that.
Okay. Motion?
In 45 days, right?
45
Yes.
days,
Yes.
just to
45.
keep it consistent with the other, mitigations that come before you.
All right.
There's a motion. on the
Today
table.
is, today is, July
July
20,
June 21st.
June 21st,
Is a
I'm
motion
so
a
sorry.
second?
Mrs.
I would
Motion a
say,
second?
Will you call the,
Yes,
People.
Madam Mayor. Commissioner Blanes, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Mayor Blanca?
yes.
4-0, item passed.
Thank you very much. And I
Thank you. Thank
apologize
you.
if I've offended anybody,
Thank
Mr.
You
Pena.
didn't offend anybody.
Thank you for coming.
Next item,
Uh,
please.
We just
Yes,
want to make
item
sure that
11E, discussion regarding the possibility of increasing parking meters in certain areas of the city of West Miami right-of-ways in areas surrounded by new development and/or existing businesses in the city. This is brought by Director of Public Works and City Manager.
Madam Mayor, as discussed in our briefing of
Yes.
the agenda, the city, my office is involved right now with the budget process, and we would like to build consensus on whether we should be looking at this as the possibility for revenue. However, Mayor Muina, who happens to be absent from this meeting, has advised that he would like to also be present for the conversation and ask that you yield or possibly defer this item so a full board
Motion
can
A
to
motion
discuss
to
it.
continue.
Motion to
Move
defer.
to defer.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Blanes, second by Commissioner Suarez, and this will be continued until next meeting. of
Next
July
meeting
5th.
is good so that we know what to do with the budget. Thank you.
Are all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item F, report of the progress of Garden Club Park expansion project and recommendations by staff for the purchase of the 2 gazebos, a family restroom, and the second playground equipment as designed for the completion of our Garden Club Park expansion project. This is by City Manager and Director of Public Works.
Thank you. I'll yield to Mr. Penna on this. This has to do with the completion of the Garden Club Park. And I know he loves to purchase equipment for the city, so I'll leave this one to him if I may. If you have any financial questions, we have a June 14th memorandum, and I think this goes to also to address some questions that we're preparing for upcoming meetings with the mayor and city commission as it pertains to impact fees, how we're using those, how we're leveraging funds for grants, and so I'll come back and talk to you about the financial implications of these. Juan?
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, the construction part of the park is almost near finish. As you know, when we rebid the work at the park, we took out all the equipment in order to come within the budget that we had for the construction between us and the Miami-Dade County CDBG office. As part of that, we agreed to put the equipment after they were finished, and since this takes anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks to order the equipment, the proposal that you have in front from Playmore is for the 2 gazebos that it will be added to the park. They're both 20 feet in distance and in size and diameter. And they run a total, with all the work done in installation, of $44,100. They're metal gazebos, similar to what we have at Cooper Park, and similar to a couple of other gazebos that are at the old part of the Garden Club Park. I suggest that we continue the same color brown that we have over at Garden Club Park, but if you wish, Cooper Park has the second color that's on the back, which is like a teal color. It could come in that color. It's up to you which color you wish to put on the gazebo.
Which is the picture of the gazebo we're getting? The brown one or
The brown
blue
one.
The brown one.
That's the
So-
Savannah.
But they have the option of also
Colors,
providing us with like a turquoise/teal color to it, which is an exhibit that's been included in your packet.
The blue one is nicer, not the color,
That's-
but the actual gazebo.
That's what I thought.
That's why it's more expensive.
Oh, so it's more expensive than our, okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Penna, could you, if I may ask you this, from the life expectancy and the aesthetics of it, which one, in your professional opinion, would hold up better for us?
Either one. Actually, they're both metal structures. It's just that the brown one is more in line with what we have existing on the old part of the Garden Club Park. When we installed the 4
Oh,
little
that's
ones there,
right.
they're similar in
That is
style.
right.
Yeah.
And those are stained.
Yes.
Those are
Could
staying.
you compare this in size to me, to the one that's in Cooper? Is it the
The
same
one at Cooper is
size?
30 feet.
Okay.
So this would be about 10
10
feet
feet.
smaller inward on each side.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah,
That's-
but
this
it's,
is gonna
it's
be
not, it's, this park is not as big as Cooper Park, so it fits the area.
But yet it's bigger than the ones that are there in the Garden Club Park
The
now.
ones that are there are 8 feet,
And this is gonna be
20.
20, okay, okay.
These are much larger.
They're considerable in size.
Mayor, may I make a comment?
Wait,
20
wait.
and 2?
2, one on each, by each playground.
So this 43,000 is just for those pavilions? This doesn't include any
44,000
playground
is just for the
equipment?
pavilions,
Just the
yes.
pavilions, okay,
We actually budgeted $150,000 for equipment.
okay.
Commissioner Suarez.
All right, now, I know, members of the table,
Administration. I know Mr. Pena, who is in charge of Public Works. He has been taking decoration classes, so he knows about colors and about styles and so. No, that's number one. And number two, he have several grandchilds, so he have experience how the children play and how he play with his grandchildren. So I think he have a good judgment for these things. So I will get his advice for this. He's a grandfather who knows about decoration, so
Mr. Pena now wears more hats.
Okay.
no, he knows about the materials too.
No, and he brings up a good point, and so does Commissioner Rodriguez,
You
in
have
terms
children,
of, I have 4. I think that the brown one or the bronze one blends in with your existing structures, and so there's not a clash of colors if we maintain that, those colors.
I agree.
is it a recommendation?
the
of
other
table?
No, it's a
My
resolution.
recommendation is going with the brown one, yes.
The brown one.
Okay.
Yes.
Motion?
No, you have to read the resolution.
Yes, resolution, item 11G, a resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of West Miami authorizing the city manager to accept the proposal from Playmore Recreational Products and Services for the purchase of 2 gazebos 20 feet in size as part of the Garden Club Park expansion project for a price of $44,100 to include the purchase of of the gazebos and the labor involved in the construction, waiving the need for competitive bidding, recognizing the vendor as a registered state of Florida vendor who transacts business with other cities, thus allowing the city of West Miami to benefit from government contract pricing, providing 100% of costs to be paid from the West Miami Recreation Center impact fees, providing for effective date, mayor and city commission.
Just to be clear and for the record, this payment for these gazebos is not coming from any taxpayer money.
That is correct. There's a June 14th memo that is attached to the
Yes.
packet, and it has a specific breakdown as of June 14th of where the dollars are, what we've leveraged for grants, and what we have coming in the budget from impact fees,
So
recreation.
this is being paid in the form of, through grants and impact fees.
The CDBG is a partial grant from the county, and then the city is matching it.
Community building blocks.
It's a community development
Community
block
development
grant.
building block grants, right?
Block grant.
Block
This,
grants.
this money
And-
exclusive for parks?
And impact fees.
Yes, sir.
Do I hear a motion?
However, just to clear the record, the CDBG is not paying for the equipment.
No, not at all.
The city's impact fee is paying for the equipment. The development of the buildings is paying for the
The
equipment.
CDBG grant is enough to pay for the wall and the infrastructure
Sidewalks.
and the sidewalk in front of the park. That's it. Then the city comes in with the impact fees and takes care of of purchasing the structures, the restrooms, which is coming up for your approval as well, and the playground equipment. And the maintenance part of it will be part of your budget in terms of moving forward. We have to maintain it. And that is at a taxpayer's cost.
Motion.
There's a motion on the table.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rodriguez. And on the motion, Commissioner Suarez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Mayor Blanca?
Yes.
4-0, item passed.
Next item, please.
Item 11H, this is a resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of West Miami authorizing the city manager to accept the proposal from Miracle Recreation Equipment Company for the purchase of 2 playground equipment age appropriate for the city of West Miami Garden Club Park expansion project for an amount of $121,145.68 to be paid from the City of West Miami Impact Fee Funds, waiving the competitive bid requirement, providing for 100% of cost to be paid from the City of West Miami Recreation Impact Fees, providing for effective date, Mayor and City Commission.
Okay, Madam Mayor, Commissioners, if you go to your layout, the little drawing in the back that has a bunch of circles on it, you'll see two big circles. That's where the proposed equipment is going. Those circles are 42 feet wide. So in order to put the proper playground equipment in there,
I'm sorry,
We-
where are you referring to, Mr. Penna?
right
Which-
before the June 14th memo, there is a sketch of the layout of the park. Yes.
Okay, I'm there, I'm there,
Okay.
I'm there. Thank you.
Those two large circles that have like a dotted line going through them, those are 42 feet apart. I mean, 42 feet in diameter. And that's for two different playground sets, as was shown in the concept back in 4 years ago. So the idea is to put, as you can see in the first circle, the original park, there is a toddler playground there that's from, you would say from 1 to 3 years old.
Right.
2 to 5.
That has, no, it's not 2 to 5, it's less. It's actually
That's
1
less,
to,
yeah.
1 to 3. It's very small and very accessible to young kids. So what we're doing to the two circles is we're doing just like Cooper Park. We're putting a 2 to 5 set, which is the following set in your packet. And it says Garden Club Park 2 to 5. And then on the other side of that one, we're putting the 5 to 12 so that different kids have different activities to be able to play. The 2 to 5 ends up being, with everything installed, is $52,000.
Okay,
Okay? The 5 to 12, with everything installed on it, is $68,000, almost $69,000. The reason why, when we did the budget, we really didn't think, and I experienced it myself in one of the Disney parks, but you see those shade structures
I
that were
was
added
just
to
going
the
to
top
ask
of it?
you, is that part of this?
Yes, we don't have the luxury of the mature trees that we have at Cooper Park or the rec center. So in securing the quote for this, the professional, the playground professional said, you know, these things are gonna be out in the sun all day. You do have a chance of dehydration on kids if you don't have a proper shade structure. And the trees that we planted over a year ago will take some time before they ever come to
Mature.
mature and place shade on it. So I told her to include it in there, even though it goes over our budgeted amount of $150,000 altogether with all three different play sets, the gazebos and 2 play sets. We still have money in the impact fund to cover the overage.
What is the overage?
The overage ends up being about $18,000 for 2 shade structures.
Right.
So what kind of shade structures are they?
It's just shown on your pictures there.
And
It-
every park in Miami-Dade County, and I've
It's a
taken the time
canvas, it's
to,
a metal structure with like a sunscreen placed on it.
it's a
That
protector.
covers the whole playground area.
So eventually the sunscreen will actually wear off and then it'll be replaced, right? The structure.
The canopy
The
itself.
canopy
The
over
canopy.
time, yeah,
Over
would
time.
need
But the
replacement.
structure will stay and we
Yeah.
can
Yes.
redo it.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you go to Tropical Park, Commissioner, or go through, to your other municipalities, all the new
Very
parks that
progressive.
they're building in Doral as well, all the new parks are built with this type of concept to protect children from the direct sun and obviously to protect the equipment from deterioration because of the Florida weather. So it's proven to last longer, and the replacement of the actual canopy over time is less costly than having to replace the entire equipment. So the life expectancy is definitely there to last longer.
great.
I won't be worried about the equipment, I'm worried more about the kids.
Yep.
I'd actually, I think I might
Absolutely.
even discussed this before. I like to look at, at some point in time, putting some shade over the swing area, the sand
Right,
area in
we
Cooper
spoke about
Park.
that.
Because it gets really, really warm out there.
Yep.
I know the playground equipment has the shade, the trees, but the
Yeah.
sand area, the swing area needs some
Very
shade.
exposed.
So hopefully we'll look at that in the near future. Mr. Bennett, the existing 1 to 3 staying as
Yes,
is?
we are
Yes.
actually ordering parts that are missing and parts that are broken over the years, and we'll refurbish that one.
Now, does that have any shade coverage, or are we putting one of these over it as well?
No, it does not have any shade cover, but that one has, it has no shade cover.
Okay.
We could look at that to see what it would cost to cover that one.
It's a small area,
Yeah.
so, and it's been without shade for this long.
Yes.
Okay.
And I would recommend to the commission that if you're going to approve this, and I would recommend that we do, and we're already gonna be over $18,000 as reported by Mr. Penna, that is not contemplated in this memo and will be part of an amended memo, that we hold off on making any other expenses, because tied to these dollars are the land water conservation projects, and we also have to finish up the Cooper Park projects that are funded partially through a grant, and it has matched dollars with impact fees. So because we don't have, at least that to my knowledge, any other new impact fees coming in as of today, I'd like to go ahead and make sure that we have sufficient money in the bank account so that we don't have to burden the taxpayer to foot the bill other than the maintenance portion of this moving forward. So, as of the writing, we had a total of $707,201 in that account.
With 90
And we
cents.
committed 555 plus another 20 now, so we're at 575. And we still have to purchase the restroom for the garden club park. And, we have other projects in the pipeline, and as we know it, we're going to go over what we expect the items will cost. It's the cost of doing business. Hopefully, this little park that we're preparing for can be rented, and we will receive some revenue after it's completed from people who use it for birthday parties, because it's going to be perfect in terms of having shaded areas, playground equipment, and it's in a nice area for parents to consider the rental for this. So we will make enough money at least to maintain it.
It's a good idea.
Mr.
So
Penna,
again-
I have to ask, every time we negotiate with these vendors, we do try to negotiate a lower price before we always ask for a lower price, right? Every
The-
single time?
These are state contract
State
prices.
contracts.
That's what
There's
every
no-
city's
that's
getting
it.
everywhere.
You can't be any lower.
No.
They are expensive.
No,
these
I know,
things,
I'm
yeah.
just, I've always had that thought in my
I've
mind, so.
always.
But remember, you also have life expectancy. You're talking about an investment today of 50,000 that's gonna last 20-something years down the
Okay.
line.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
supposedly they're industrial grade and made with this and that and the other.
Special
I know,
material.
I was amazed also at the price of these playground
Okay.
equipments when
No,
I first
it
Do I
started
get a motion?
hearing about it.
And may I make another for the record? That's why we are waiving the bid requirement, because all these prices are
Set.
totally the lowest in the market.
Okay.
Motion?
Second,
Motion
Yes.
and second, Clerk?
Yes, Commissioner Rodriguez, as you vote.
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez,
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes.
yes.
Mayor Blanca.
Yes.
4-0, item passes.
Next item, please.
Item 11I, resolution authorizing the city manager to execute interdepartmental transfers before the end of the fiscal year, September 30, 2017, as prescribed by Charter, Section 510, titled Transfer of Funds Between Departments, by Mayor and City Commission.
This is a customary thing, Mayor. I
Every
make a
year we
motion.
do this,
Before the
90
budget.
days prior to the closing of any fiscal year, authorizes the manager's office. It's a housekeeping.
It's a
Second
customary
the
thing. I
motion.
make a motion already.
Second.
Call the vote, please.
Yes, Commissioner Blanes, as you
Yes.
vote. Commissioner Rodriguez.
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez.
Yes.
Mayor Blanca.
Yes.
4-0, item passes.
Good of the order?
Now, I have something, Mayor.
I have to get a blessing from the table for something.
Each city is taking their position in the ARB rental. You know this crazy business
Yes, I
that
know.
they have the application? And I ask for your blessing to instruct our administration to make an ordinance, like a city of Miami and like a city of Miami Beach, to do not allow this ARB business in city of West Miami. The county is already making an ordinance, putting some parameters. The county already, they are accepting, and they are going to put parameters. But any city could close the door for those businesses, especially we have a family-oriented small city. So I I get the blessing of the table
Not-
to recommend the administration to
not-
do with us like a city of Miami, a city of Miami Beach has been done.
Not
In other
just,
cities around the
yeah.
country.
Thank you for bringing that up, Commissioner, and it's not just
We
that.
spoke about that today.
It's not that, actually, we actually had a conversation about that, and even more importantly than that is the safety of our residents.
Many things.
This is just asking for trouble.
So all in favor say
So,
I
aye?
just get a blessing from you
Yes.
in order
Yes.
for the administration to try to make the ordinance. The city of Miami have, the city of Miami Beach, all other cities in the country, and, but I just have the two
Okay, okay.
examples.
So it would be an ordinance of the city of West Miami prohibiting
Yeah.
prohibiting
do not allow it-
Airbnb.
Do not allow, yeah, like the city of
Exactly.
Miami has been done in city of Miami Beach. They
I-
have the ordinance.
We
to
will
Do not
present it.
allow
We-
this business in the
we
city.
have actually
And it's
already had
legal, and they are doing
complaints and
They are
issues
implementing.
With this?
here in the city of West Miami.
Madam Manager, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought I read recently or heard the county, Miami-Dade County has approved it, correct?
That is correct. They are in the process of approving a business tax revenue, the loss of homestead exemption for those properties that are rented for more than 30 days, for a period of time of longer than 30 days, and there will be other sanctions. I believe that the county has generated.
May I?
So they've
Of course.
approved it with certain restrictions and obviously regulations and rules.
But let me clarify this, Commissioner Rodriguez.
Miami-Dade County approved for the incorporated areas. I was talking to the mayor a couple of days ago, Miami-Dade County mayor, and already talked to different commissioners in the county. And the county, Commissioner Heyman is making the ordinance. They are going to put almost 30 days. They are going to put they have to pay taxes, but this for their territory, for the incorporated area. But each city have the power to do whatever they want in each city. This is the county. In this case, it's the incorporated area, what they did, not for all the cities, not a mandatory thing for the whole county. Each city have the possibility and the power to do that. That's what the city of Miami did, city of Miami Beach did. Now, if you want to do that, you may rent it the county, incorporated area, Commissioner Rodriguez, but you cannot do it in city of Miami.
I completely understand. I
So
was
if
just,
you didn't know,
I
just-
was
Okay.
just asking for clarification
Get
to see if I
get information.
understood. I
Get
completely
information.
understand. I was just asking for clarification
Yes.
because I thought I had heard that the county did approve it.
For their
So I
territory.
just
Mr.
wanted
Villalobos.
clarification.
Please.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I was just waiting for the discussion to be completed. I am totally against that concept of renting a property on residential areas. However, we do have to explore the possibility of us being in conflict with state statute because I believe that there's something going on in the state statute. However, let me preface by saying that we have several ordinances that prohibit two families in the same property. There's ordinances and state statute that punishes people that rent homes by suspending their homestead exemption. So there are several statutes to be considered. There's not only one that has to be considered.
But
And
excuse
again,
me,
I am
Excuse me.
totally against the concept of companies that are very prevalent and just because we might make a couple of bucks. I think that I share fully with Commissioner Blanes the fact that we don't know who's coming, we cannot control them, and there have been instances in the city of Miami where there have been great upheaval about having just people coming in and just going out into residential areas. This is not an area that will be consistent with that practice. So even though my opinion, my personal opinion, my personal preference is against it, I will do the research for you.
Well, Mayor, I'm not talking about that rental. I'm talking about this application, ARB.
That's what
it.
Directed that Miami and Miami Beach have the ordinance. If you don't know, just.
Yes, he knows, he
get
just
it.
explained
I
that.
just want your blessing, and then they
Yes,
discuss that.
okay.
I do know
You
that.
guys my blessing for you?
Let me put it on the record. Let me put it on the record. Gentlemen and ladies, my job is to do your research. I have a case law, pardon me, please, that has gone out to court already. And on April 19, 2017, there was a ruling by a judge favoring Airbnb in a legal dispute with the city of Miami. So we have to be very careful on this issue, because there has already been instances where courts have sided with that sort of companies. We can attack it by zoning and by our very strict enforcement.
Code
of,
enforcement.
But as I say, we're just not going to just go ahead and jump the gun, because there have been, this have gone out to courts, and I have to research this no matter what. Okay?
Thank you very much. That's what I
Thank you.
want.
Thank you.
That's what I want. The administration
Good of the
searches
order.
and that.
And also, you know, the fact that they're gonna have more garbage and it's gonna affect our sanitation, you know, pickup, we can possibly charge a property more.
No, but it's
Well,
have-
there's
have-
ways you can charge them a business tax occupation. If you can't preclude them from being here in the city, then you can tax them, because they are taxing our resources.
All I can say is that there's already been complaints and issues here in the city of West Miami because of that.
I just
So
want
we
to-
know for a fact that we have them already?
Yes,
We have a few.
yes, we do.
Gentlemen, ladies, I don't want to open a discussion. I just want to open you blessing the idea that they make the research and try to do what the city of Miami
Yes.
has been done,
Mr.
and city
Attorney,
of
do
Miami
a
Beach
good
has
job.
been done.
Yes.
That's it.
Good of the order?
And it has been challenged, and it have been overturned. That's the issue, okay?
Good of the order, I didn't submit a report, I just wanted to let you know that the flyers for the 4th of July will be ready this week. We intend to use the young staff at the rec center to hand deliver within probably Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. We'll be delivering the 4th of July flyers.
Thank you.
And by
Good
the
night.
way, just a little thing.
Motion.
Motion to adjourn, please.
I just want to, what
Excuse
Miami,
me.
may I finish? No, in clarification for you, is that the application of ARB, that's what these cities do not allow that application to
That's
work.
what Mr. Villalobos is going to do the research.
thank you very
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Ya,